No justice, no peace. Defund the police.
It's the growing call at the center of the Black Lives Matter movement. Defund the police. This time, the message painted in bright pink letters outside of Toronto Police headquarters.
We are calling for a reinvestment of those funds into Black, Indigenous, racialized, impoverished, and other targeted communities.
They can't stop the revolution!
Among the signs and chants here at this day of action, another prominent message: for all Black lives. A reminder of the movement's commitment to all.
We've been screaming for a long time for people to recognize what's been happening in Black communities, that we're Black, we're queer, we're mad, we're tired, we're frustrated. We deserve justice.
No justice, no peace.
The Black Lives Matter movement was formed in the U.S. in 2013 as a response to the acquittal of the man who shot and killed 17-year-old Trayvon Martin. It was Black LGBTQ women who started the movement.
People are finally recognizing the urgency.
Here, too, Black LGBTQ voices leading the way.
In this moment of time, it's about unearthing those stories and making sure that everyone understands and knows that our communities have always been here. We've been fighting for the same rights for all Black people.
Shut it down! Abandon our borders! Shut it down!
It's why in 2016, Black Lives Matter activists took their protests to Pride Toronto, launching a sit-in and bringing the parade to a halt. Among their demands, more representation of Black LGBTQ people within the Pride organization and the removal of police from the parade.
It was out of seeing a lot of violence happen to our community, and more importantly, it was out of seeing an erasure of Black, queer, and trans narratives and stories into Pride.
Actions prompting change. Last summer, Pride Toronto members voted against allowing uniformed officers to participate. And this month, Vancouver's Pride Society moved to do the same thing.
We see the kind of marrying of not only Black activism, but LGBTQ activism, and it kind of came together and encouraged Pride societies nationwide to finally pull the plug and finally make that decision.
But today's progress highlights a long legacy of Black activists who have been fighting for civil, gay, and trans rights. From Bayard Rustin, a close advisor to Martin Luther King Jr. and key figure in the civil rights movement, who was openly gay, to prominent Black trans activist Marsha P. Johnson, one of the key figures at the forefront of the 1969 Stonewall riots in New York.
Black communities have constantly seen ourselves under siege here in America.
Activist Elle Hearns founded the Marsha P. Johnson Institute to continue the work of protecting the rights and empowering the voices of transgender people in America.
The lack of access to health care, the lack of access to safety, whether it's in your home or, at the hands of the police or even from the president of your country.
And while the momentum for protests was sparked by the murder of George Floyd, the man killed by a white police officer who kneeled on his neck for nearly 9 minutes.
Gay lives matter!
Gay lives matter!
Supporters are showing up for trans lives too. So far this year, at least 16 Black trans people have been killed in the U.S., like Tony McDade, a Black trans man shot and killed by police in Florida, just days after Floyd died.
Trans lives, they matter here!
While this Pride Month is cause for celebration, the work for equality continues.
This year's Pride is a reminder of what Pride is about. It's a revolution. It's for people taking the streets, for owning their own humanity, for celebrating our lives.
For many, that celebration means a return to its roots and putting the protest back into pride. Shoshana Reed, CBC News, Toronto.